Some stories, no matter how bizarre, are too chilling to forget. This is one such story. You may not believe it, but every word is true. The place I lived, for a time, was more than just a house. It was a prison, bound by a past drenched in darkness. I was young, just 23, a life torn apart by divorce. I needed a place to stay. A cheap old house was all I could afford. It was a beautiful Victorian home on the west side of a city shrouded in crime. But this city held more secrets than anyone cared to admit. Everything about the house was alluring. Clawfoot bathtubs, tall ceilings, fireplaces in nearly every room, and an unusual basement, a rarity for this area. But something about the house felt off from the moment I stepped inside. At night, it started. Footsteps in the hall when no one was there. The creak of hardwood floors, doors opening by themselves. The feeling of being watched, even though the house was empty. It was like something was living with me. Then the plumbing failed. No matter what we did, the pipes clogged, the toilets flushed on their own, and the smell, it was unbearable. Something had gotten into the very bones of the house. I didn't know what it was, but I knew it was angry. Soon, it wasn't just the house. People around me started changing. Friendships withered. Relationships ended suddenly. But they weren't the only ones affected. Darkness crept into their minds, infecting their dreams with horror, despair, and thoughts of suicide. A medium came to the house. She said the children trapped here were angry, lost, confused, and full of sorrow. She told me that the house itself was alive, each room filled with pain, and something in the air wanted to claim me too. One night, a friend brought a spirit board into the house. Despite my warnings, she used it. And from that moment, everything changed. She claimed dark figures violated her in her sleep, whispered terrible things to her, and left her screaming in terror. Driven by fear and curiosity, I began an investigation with my roommate, Mr. W. In the attic, we discovered something that should have been left buried. The house's past wasn't just haunted, it was drenched in blood. The truth became clear. A family had been slaughtered here. The children were murdered, their bodies hidden in the septic tank. Their souls, filled with rage and anguish, still haunt the house. I felt their anger, and it threatened to consume me. So we decided to leave this house. Before I left, I placed flowers in a jar in the attic, a small token of apology to the spirits trapped in that place. But the next day, the flowers rotted. No water, no sunlight, just death. I moved away, but the house followed me. I met others who had lived there, and they spoke of the horrors they'd felt, of gold rings buried beneath the floorboards, of the dark energy that consumed everything in its path. No one truly escapes. It's not just the house that's haunted, it's the very city, the secrets buried in its past, in its streets. I will never forget that darkness, and neither will you.